What's up, Knight fans? Welcome again to Holding Court with Todd Dagenais, and along with the coach, I'm Jeff Sharon. UCF coming off of a very tough split this weekend against the Gulf Coast schools in Conference USA. And coach, you know, we talked about it before. It was, you know, you had the home and then the away. Home for Tulane, you get the big sweet victory, and then on the road, Southern Miss. Let's start by talking about the victory at home against Tulane. I thought a very thorough performance all the way around by the team. What was your evaluation of that match at home?
Yeah, I think that's right. You know, we've been waiting to put together a complete match like that. I really thought our serving was a great part of the game. And I told the team beforehand, it's a serve and pass game for us. We have to serve tough and we have to serve receive well. And we did both. Allowed us to run an offense at a very, very high level. And we were able to take care of business 3-0 against a team I think that we had only beaten maybe once since we've been in Conference USA and never have beaten here at our place. And so it's a milestone and a historic win for us, and it seems we've been racking up some of those this year, and that's been a real positive thing. Yeah,
you had another milestone, like you said, for the team this year. I thought that the other thing that was impressive about that victory was the contribution from everybody. It didn't seem like anyone individually stood out with a particular individual effort. Everyone who was on the floor contributed mightily in some way, shape, manner, or form.
I think we're a much better team when that happens. You know, when we can spread 10 kills or something around 4 hitters, and then have the 5th hitter contributing at a decent level. I think we're a pretty tough team to beat. And I think that's probably the way it was in that match. I mean, certainly our players that we depend on a lot stepped up, but I think everybody else also did their part. A lot of ways and doesn't show up in the statistical column, but we did our job, and that was really nice to be able to come away with that, because that's a team that had just beat Southern Miss 3-0, and they also already have some big wins in conference, and so it was a really nice home sweep for us.
So after that, 48 hours, you then head on the road. It's a little unusual because we're used to seeing, you know, when you go on the road, you go to Tulane and to Southern Miss. The way the schedule works out this year, Tulane at home, then you go to Southern Miss on the road. Very, very tough match. You guys come up short in 5 and 21-19 in the final set, in the 5th set. That match, what can you say? I mean, it's as close as a volleyball match as you're ever going to see at the college level.
Yeah, no, it was an epic battle. You know, I thought we maybe stole that first game. I thought Southern Miss really had the lead. We came charging back and were able to catch them at the end, and just really made some nice execution plays at the end to steal it 25-23. The next 2 sets, Southern Miss really took it to us. I mean, they hit over 300 in both sets. And I sat and I challenged the team. I said, this is about pride. This is about defense, you know. And sometimes we see that on Sunday. The hitting percentages for the home team tend to really go up on Sundays, and you know that's kind of what happened. But you know, I challenged the team to clamp down on that, and we did. We held them way under 200 anyway in that 4th set, and were able to come away with that to set up just an epic 5th game battle.
Yeah, and tell me what, like we were talking about a little bit before. You know, when it comes down to the 5th set, you know, it can go one of 2 ways when it's that tight, and we see a box score like that. You know, it's either both teams kind of couldn't get out of their own way, or both teams were really executing at the highest level. And you were telling me that the latter was certainly the case in this match. Both teams were really just throwing haymakers at each other, and the difference came down to just one swing.
Sure, I thought we had them on the ropes early. You know, I think we had them maybe 8-3 or 8-4 or something like that. And we rotated into a rotation that we had struggled in, and we just couldn't find our way out of that rotation. They came back and came close to tying it up. I thought Rachel made a great play to stop the bleeding, and then we got to our strong rotations and we made another run at it. And I thought that's where really Southern Miss stepped up, because instead of allowing us to have runs of 3 or 4 or something like that, they allowed us to only have runs of 1 or 2, and so it kept it real close all the way to the end, and we were able to storm back and get it close and actually have a couple set points. And then after that, both teams just executed points. There really was not very many errors. Both teams executed, got their kills, and I think, Jeff, when it comes right down to it, it's really about to not give up 2 points in a row for that long of a duration was really a great tribute to both teams. And once again, though, we got stuck in a rotation that had earlier cost us a lot of points, and that was where Southern Miss got their 2-point advantage, and it was the first 2-point advantage since way, way early in the set. And give them credit. You know, they executed when they had to, and as I said in a press release, I think having 6 seniors on the floor really was an advantage to them. I thought our senior on the floor probably played the best match that maybe she's played in her entire life. That's Rachel Luxon. She was an amazing leader, amazingly emotional in the match, and I mean, she willed us through some rotations that we had struggled in defensively, blocking wise, setting decisions. I mean, Jeff, it was so much fun to watch her really invest in this match, and I'm proud of the way that she handled that match, because people kept looking at her when they weren't real sure, and she kept saying, I believe, let's go." And you know, we had our opportunity, we just couldn't put it away, but Southern Miss took advantage of it, so kudos to them. But it was one of those matches that win or lose, you look back and you remember. I kind of liken it to when I was at SC and we played Stanford and lost 17-15 in the fifth set of a national semifinal game, and it really felt like that. It was just really a lot of fun.
And I'll tell you, one of I guess the good news that you take away from that is that despite all that, right now when you look at the Conference USA standings, UCF is still tied for 6th place in the league, but you're only 3 matches out of 2nd place in the league. So like you said, everything's bunched up together at the top of the league. Where do we stand right now as we look forward to this big weekend coming up with the 2 Houston schools coming to town? Where does the big picture stand right now for you when you look at the standings in the conference?
Well, big picture for us is our goals are still intact. You know, we're still not backing away from the fact that we want to be in the top 3, and until we're mathematically eliminated from the top 3, that's the goal. And if we get to that point, then we'll reestablish our goals. But for right now, we can still get there. We have to have a heck of a run here in these last 9 matches, probably 8-1, 7-2, something like that will get us there.
But doable.
Absolutely doable. Absolutely doable. And you know, we just got to improve some consistency things on our side. But really for us, that's one goal. Another goal is to make sure that we're improving every week. No matter what circumstances are dealt, we're going to improve every single week until the end of the year. And if we do that, we're going to find ourselves in a good position, not only to finish in the top half of the conference for the first time, but you know, hopefully on Selection Sunday we still got our name on the board.
And of course, like we mentioned, Houston coming in and Rice coming in this weekend. It's a Friday and Sunday. I think it's Rice that's coming into town first on Friday, or is it Houston?
We'll play Houston on Friday.
Houston on Friday. Sorry about that. Houston on Friday, Rice, and then on Sunday. For more information, make sure you check out UCFathletics.com. You know what you're getting with these 2 schools, especially when the Cougars come to town. Give me your quick scouting report first for the Houston Cougars. We know that they're tough every year.
Well, it's still fresh in our mind. We just played them 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, and it was a great battle when we went down to their place with several of the sets being decided by just 2 points or 3 points. And so, boy, Lucy Sharuk, their middle, they'll set her 40 times.
Yeah,
in a 4-game match, which is unbelievable for a middle. And that's with a freshman setter. And boy, she's just done a nice job of knowing who her stud hitters are and making sure that she gets them the ball. So we have to find a way to slow down that middle. Now, we can do that one of 2 ways. First of all, we can serve a little bit tougher against them and see if we can keep them out of system. And I think the second thing is when we are in serve-receive, we have to find a way to get some first ball kills, because that eliminates a lot of their transition opportunities. And I thought that's something that maybe we kind of let get away from us when we were in Houston. We just didn't get enough first ball kills, allowed them to get into transition with us, where we had a difficult time stopping them. So it becomes another serve pass game for us. And you know, our ability to side out really neutralizes their ability to run a fast offense against us. If we can get them predictable, I think we've got a good shot against them, but we have to get them in a mode where they're predictable.
Rice, on the other hand, different situation, but like you said, they're still tough as well, and you can't sleep on the Owls at all.
No, Rice and us are very similar teams. I think we were able to go down there and steal one from them, and I thought we played really well in that match for a road match, something that we hadn't done in a while. And so darn well they're coming back and they're hungry. And I think if you look at us, you look at Rice, you're looking at a mirror image of each other. Both of us have moments where we're highly consistent and can beat the #1 team in the conference, and then both of us have moments where you wonder what's going on the floor. And so they are who we think they are, and we are who we think we are, and both teams are just trying to get better. So it's going to come down to execution. Who executes on Sunday at 1 o'clock? That's really what's going to happen, and it's as much of a toss-up as any match could be.
Thank you, Coach Green, for that analysis of Rice. But all right, so let's zoom out, look at the national picture real quick. What were some of the big headlines that you think are really key in terms of where we stand in the national picture and where the national picture stands as a whole?
Well, I think there's been a shakeup at the top. Illinois finally lost to Nebraska, and no one's going to no one this year was going to go undefeated. It just wasn't going to happen.
How about Nebraska coming in their first year in the Big Ten too?
Sure, and that's a big win. At Nebraska, it's a tough place to play. You got 5,000 people, all very knowledgeable volleyball fans sitting right on the floor, and it's just one of those wonderful places to play a volleyball match. And I'm sure that got to Illinois, but Illinois will be waiting for Nebraska to come back later on. And so got Nebraska's up there and Illinois is up there, and we thought that maybe Southern Cal would kind of slot in with the #1 team losing, but that didn't happen. Actually, Illinois fell in front of them, so Southern Cal's back to 4. But still, Pac-10, Big Ten, Hawaii, Texas, a couple of Big 12, and it's as much of a toss-up as we've ever seen still. I don't think there is clearly a #1 team. I think it's who's #1 on that day. So it's going to make the national tournament a lot of fun here as we head into the last 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be Elimination City out there once we get, especially when we get to like the round of 16, the round of 8. It's going to be really interesting to see.
Sure, because I think there's teams out there that are kind of laying in the weeds that could upset somebody. There's those high mid-majors or mid-level BCS type programs that maybe had an injury early in the year that are just starting to come on, or their young kids are starting to mature. I mean, you always see those teams, and they can be really dangerous in the round of 16 and the round of 8. But typically, your big dogs are the one that survive the round of 8 and round of 4.
Cool. So, like we said, big weekend for us coming up. More immediate things, of course, happening, and big things happening at UCF right now as we head towards the second half of the conference schedule. And like we said, for more information here at UCF Athletics on UCF Volleyball, make sure you follow us on Twitter, UCF_volleyball. Also hit us up on Facebook, search for UCF Volleyball. Remember, fans, it's Houston on Friday night, Rice on Sunday afternoon. For tickets, make sure you come on. Make sure you check out UCFathletics.com or call the ticket office 407-UCF-1000. Coming out to the venue because we're going to need you for these 2 matches against the 2 Houston schools. Coach, thanks again. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, and thank you for joining us. This has been Holding Court with Todd Dagenais. We will catch you again next week.